You should have gotten that notification, and let's get started right away. One more time, the chat is open. Please make sure to tell me if you cannot hear me or cannot see my slides. And with that, let's start. And as 10:06 is hit the time, it is time for KOK 101. And as you know, if you're joining me not for the first time, Monday nights are all about the general information about KOK, the platform, ecosystem, and the cryptocurrency, all in one package. But for those of you who are new to either my video presentations or also to KOK in general, I would like to let you know that we actually have changed Mondays to learn also about K Stadium. So it is two packages into one. We're going to learn both about K Stadium and KOK today. So for KOK 101 and K Stadium 101, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Joony Su. I have been doing these presentations for quite a while now, and I try to bring you the most updated information as well as the most easy to understand explanations for both K Stadium and KOK. And I am very well known for doing a AMA session or perhaps a Q&A session at the end of the night. So if you have any questions, either regarding my presentation today or of course for KOK and K Stadium as well, please save those questions till the end of the presentation. My presentations are a bit shorter than they used to be. We're probably going to run till 10:40 p.m. today, so we have plenty of time to ask those questions and have me answer those as well. For today's presentation, we're going to cover four things. The first is always the origin story. I always like to know the background before understanding a new topic, and that is why I like to get started by explaining to you why it was created, it being KOK, and the ecosystem revolving KOK. And then we're going to move on to what KOK exactly is. It is a cryptocurrency, a business, a platform, an ecosystem. It is quite a lot to understand, but I'm going to try to break it down to its bare bones structures so you can understand what KOK exactly is. And then we're going to move on to understanding KOK versus K Stadium and where that name K Stadium came to be and why you're hearing the word K Stadium when you are here trying to learn about KOK and KOK Play. And then together, once we have an understanding of that, we're going to finalize by understanding why those two platforms together as one ecosystem can become our future. So with that, let's get started on why it was created. And it's actually a pretty cool story, and it starts from the Hallyu Wave. East Coast to West Coast, all around the globe, the Hallyu Wave, or the Korean cultural phenomenon named Hallyu Wave, has been hitting both in a cultural aspects in many parts of the world. For BTS, from their musical standpoint, perhaps Gangnam Style dance, very iconic dance, to even the very many beauty K products that you can find on your local stores nearby. And these Korean culture phenomenon, from where I stand in Canada, can look something like this. And it is probably something similar to where you live, as it was a global sensation. For example, starting with Psy doing his very iconic dance, all the way to last November, everybody in the world watching Squid Game from Netflix. And that was really a moment in history where Netflix saw its record streaming numbers compared to any other shows they had so far. So the reason why I want to point out this Hallyu Wave or K-culture phenomenon is because that's what was in the center of the focus of the world. As we were all stuck at home during COVID-19, these numbers only accelerated even more as we were eager to watch more digital contents at home, on our phones, on our computers, and this was the new content consumption world. And the contents I'm talking about is the K-pop, K-drama, K-beauty, K-gaming, K-everything. And in fact, it wasn't just for K-contents, but it was actually for global contents, as in the global digital content market showing a two-digit growth rate of 16.2% in America alone, expected to reach a $38 billion industry by 2030, and also showing a dramatic change on how we are consuming digital contents. And if we're talking about digital contents from all across the world, as everybody in the world has consumed these digital contents, we can assume that everybody in the world generated wealth from the sales of digital content, right? Well, Here's the problem. That is not what happened. And what happened is the platform companies really benefited from this digital content boom, but not much everybody else. And these platform companies, enterprises, conglomerates, now called dinosaurs, are the names that we very well know, like Google with YouTube and their Play Store, Facebook, now called Meta with their Instagram, Amazon, Netflix, Twitter, Spotify, and Apple with their App Store, for example, are all companies, or dinosaurs as we call it, that have revolved their business as a platform company. And these platform companies, sure, I'll enable that for you. These platform companies are playing a game of Monopoly, and my friends, we are losing. We, being you and I listening to this presentation, we are the users of these many platforms that I have just listed, and we are losing this game of Monopoly. And if you don't know the game of Monopoly, it's a game where you should never play with your friends, because as the game progresses, you'll have one clear winner that can control the entire economy, that is the board, and the rest of the players will be forced to continue to play and pay until they go bankrupt and one person has complete domination of the board, thus Monopoly. And if you don't believe me that this is actually happening, let me give you the example of Squid Game that everybody watched last year. Now, if you haven't watched it, you should definitely do it. It's an amazing series on Netflix. But let me just look at the numbers that I picked up from the article Guardian that was written by Mr. Jeffries here. On the article, it says Squid Game costed about $30 million to create, meaning that $30 million Canadian, so roughly 25 million US, was divided to all the actors, and there were many of them, all the staff members, and there were many of them, and of course the producers, executive producers, directors, so on and so forth. And I also list the 6 teeth here because that's how many teeth or molars that the creator of Squid Game lost trying to create this series during COVID-19. You can have imagined the amount of headache. But the number that Netflix generated through this series that broke all of its record streaming standards was 1 billion Canadian dollars. And these numbers is just November numbers, meaning anybody who's watched Squid Game after November of 2021 has added on to more of the 1 billion pile, but no more to the 27 million pile. So what this tells us is that there's a huge discrepancy between who is making the money, and who is actually creating the content. And it's gotten so bad last year that these power play of these platform companies, that the Korean government, the national body of Korea, had to step in trying to limit some of this power and control these platform dinosaurs had, for example, Google and Apple. And you can see here that when a national body has to step in trying to control some of these companies, how much power these companies actually have is really shown right here. And all of this story combined with the digital content boom, but not equidividend to who has created and who has equally has received the profits from there, shows you the really birthplace of what KOK was trying to fix. KOK was on the basis of fighting these monopoly platforms, and an engineer with this mindset set to creating a better, safer, and fair economy model was trying to create a new digital contents platform where the market becomes more fair. And that is the keystone of KOK, and it still is the real founding principles of what KOK is. And it was the K platform for K contents, with the model of being fair, where assets and value will be shared, and such system will be enabled by the platform. And these 3 key founding principles was really the cornerstone and the basis of what KOK was, which is a K platform for K contents. And I say the word was because it has evolved quite much since then. But really, this is all in a short sentence. What is KOK? A K platform for K contents. And in 2018, with that, it was founded to show the TV shows, the games, the webtoons, movies, all the K contents to be consumed all in one place. However, its big homework was to really maintain its 3 cornerstone principles of fair, share, and enable. To have a fair system, we needed to be decentralized, unlike a centralized platform where it will just yet create another monopoly, and have a system where it can be, the values can be shared in a fair manner, meaning it should be open and it should be transparent and it should be encrypted like a blockchain system. And it should enable insane amount of data or intense amount of data, for a lack of a better word. And this is big data, meaning contents from all across the world should be able to be on top of this platform and handled by AI solutions. Now, the problem was this pink part on the left was what KOK wanted to become, but this blue part on the right was what it didn't have. It was technology way beyond its grasp. So it started with this idea of seeking investment from its early founding initial users. But meanwhile, let me tell you about a different company called Medium, now called Meta M. Now, this is a different South Korean company that achieved something very unique, and quite an achievement it was, because through their software and hardware solutions, their platform was able to achieve a speed that was gained world's top tier performance level status. That means in a blockchain world, even though they were a small South Korean company, together with their success of both software and hardware solutions, they can achieve speeds that can be on par with the many of the fabrics and many of the blockchain companies that were out there and match their specs. And why this is important? It's because the two companies, KOK Play KOK Foundation that created KOK Play, and Medium, the blockchain company, through a merger and acquisition, became one company. And because it became one company, that's when the game really became interesting, because this model of fair share enabled that required the decentralized blockchain solution can now actually become possible. And that is what its new version of KOK Play, as we go into the many of the system upgrades, is going to be. In other words, the digital contents platform can now be added with the blockchain technology that it required to have that fair, share, and enabled system. In other words, the new version of KOK and K Stadium is really the big new naming to add these two companies together. Is not just a K contents platform for K contents, but it is a decentralized blockchain-based digital contents platform. And that is the new one sentence of what K Stadium / KOK is. If anybody asks, wait, what is that about? It is a decentralized blockchain-based digital contents platform. And this idea with its user base really sparked the interest of many, many initial users, and of course you, which is why you're listening into this. But I'm happy to say it also grabbed the interest of two very specific venture capitalist organizations called Chain Capital and Kirin Fund that have been well known for investing on blockchain infrastructure, decentralized finance technologies, and also, as their website literally states, as investing in the most ambitious blockchain companies. And they have found this real growth potential of KOK K Stadium, that they came in as seed funders for KOK Foundation's KOK Play. And that is really where we're at. With its seed funding and its initial users, this is where we are at in the current timescape of KOK Play, which is what a platform requires. And what a platform requires, since it is a blockchain-based digital content platform, it is still a platform. And it requires people like you and I, or users. And without users, really, a platform is completely useless, for no pun intended there. But literally, it could have the most amazing technology or the most amazing contents, but if nobody's willing to consume that, it is really useless. And of course, the platform will fail. So like every other platform, since its birth and its launch in 2018, it has entered its early market phase, and it's looking for its early adopters, and it is currently in the user acquisition phase, which is trying to look for new users into the platform. However, as I have been explaining to you many times, it is trying to be a little bit different than the previous platforms that has been the very success stories, but the problematic monopolies of our current world. for example, like Uber and Airbnb, or even Facebook, that I'll give as an example of the current platform economy that you see fine here in the middle, where the company is always at the center. It is a very centralized figure where the content providers or the service providers lay outside of the company, not part of the company, but there is a flow of money always towards the middle, meaning the many Uber drivers exist outside of the company. They are not hired by the company, yet they work for Uber as their funds always funnel in. What happens when you stop driving for Uber or when you stop renting your apartment for Airbnb? That connection is completely severed and you no longer gain anything from the ecosystem or the platform, but the platform has already gained so much from you. And this is really the problem why many of these monopoly companies have created this very unrealistic and unsustainable economies. And this is the reason why many of the companies that are coming out now, the startups are saying, no more of this. Let's create a more sustainable economy. And that model right now is called a protocol economy. And KOK or K Stadium is not the only company that is trying to achieve a protocol economy, but many companies are. But a protocol economy is on a basis of a community that does not have one center, a decentralized version of an economy where the community's value is shared and divided amongst anybody and everybody within the community, which perfectly fits KOK's vision of fair, share, and enable. But to be fair and to share value, we must have something to share amongst the people or the users of the community, right? Well, that thing in the KOK ecosystem is called the KOK token, like a cryptocurrency. And this KOK token, if you go to, let's say, CoinMarketCap right now, or CoinGecko, or any other coin encyclopedias, you'll be able to find it as listed as one of the ranking top 300 tokens of the world out of the 20,000 cryptocurrencies of the world, and is listed already in 11 exchanges, and many of them listed as the top 10 exchanges globally on the CoinMarketCap index as well. So from that, what you can already tell is that the KOK token is like your average cryptocurrency or your average token where you can mine it. There's a finite amount and you can trade it, which is very important for a cryptocurrency right now, meaning you can exchange it to other types of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ether or other stable coins like US dollar Tether. But what's really interesting is how it's so much more than your average cryptocurrency. Your average cryptocurrency does not have an ecosystem of users. KOK does. Initially, it already started with a place where KOK can be used, traded, and used as a utility token to buy, consume the contents that everybody wanted, the K contents that I mentioned to you about, meaning that the growth of the community utilizing the KOK token is directly influenced by the value of the token as well. And there is a third point that I'll mention to you a bit later again, but it has the technology to own its own network. But let's go back to the first 2 points, which is it has an ecosystem of users and the ecosystem's growth is dependent on the community. This is the perfect rendition of how a protocol economy should look and work. And finally, the third point, how KOK token is so much more than your average cryptocurrency, goes to my third point, where I say it has the technology to own its own network. What does that mean? That is in the meaning where it's the difference between a token and a coin. In the cryptocurrency world, a token is a cryptocurrency that does not have its own blockchain technology, but borrows some other companies or some other systems' blockchain technology. And many of the tokens out there that we know, perhaps more than 80%, are based on Ethereum's ERC20 chain, meaning Ethereum has been its many provider of the tokens that are already out there. And when KOK Play first started and didn't have its own blockchain technology, it also borrowed the technology from Ethereum's ERC20. But if you've been following along, you won't be surprised when I tell you that our token is ready to become a coin. And what that means is through the merger with with Medium Foundation, with K Stadium's launch, we are now able to have our KOK cryptocurrency minted as a coin through our own mainnet called the KOK mainnet, which went on a closed beta earlier this year and is currently on an open beta, which that means you can join in right now and try to become part of the open beta that is K Stadium. So the KOK cryptocurrency that you find on KOK in K Stadium is actually the coin form, a coin form that is utilizing Medium Technology's very fast 50,000 transactions per second technology, both in hardware and software solution, that is the KOK mainnet's ground chain. And to put it into perspective, why this number TPS is important, which stands for transactions per second, is how many transactions this network can handle in 1 second. Bitcoin and Ethereum are rudimentary old systems, so of course their numbers are very low. And that is why these newer technologies can definitely benefit of being new and utilizing newer technologies, as there's not much to implement into the system, as it is a brand new system, unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the higher TPS means that the wait times are much shorter. So if it's 50,000 transactions per second, and there is many of us globally trying to use the system, it can outcompete speeds for both Ethereum's network and Bitcoin network very easily. This is a very interesting and exciting point for all of the users of the K Stadium or KOK ecosystem, along with people of KOK Play as well. And to commemorate this wonderful merger of these two companies with this wonderful technological leap that it was able to do, KOK, along with Medium, created their new name of K Stadium. So don't be confused if I keep talking to you about KOK and K Stadium interchangeably, because these two together equal to one ecosystem, and they are, of course, managed by the same company as well. And if you want more information about K Stadium, you can join me every Thursdays right now, where I do an AMA or an Ask Me Anything session, or you can, of course, go to kstadium.io right now on your browser to find out more information about K Stadium, all in English as well. Whew. So that was quite a long spiel from me. I apologize for the very excited tone, and I sometimes rush, so I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit. But to review, I've explained to you the origin story, or why KOK started in the first place. And it was to combat this monopoly of the contents platform with their platform economies. And that's why I tried to explain to you what KOK exactly was. And it was a K platform for K contents. But as it's merged with Medium that had its blockchain capabilities, became its final form, a blockchain-based digital contents platform. And then that is when the birth of K Stadium happened. But these two platforms actually exist separately, but in one ecosystem. Therefore, there are two platforms. And to understand these two platforms and how they exist on one ecosystem, let's go back in time a little bit, where there was only one platform, such as KOK Play. And it's an app that has existed on many of our phones for a very long time, and we have been utilizing it for quite a while. Some of you actually consume the content. Good job for you. And some of you have been very excited about the future of this app, and therefore has taken part of the POS, or the proof of stake model, into KOK. Now, KOK basically had these two separate functions that I just mentioned to you about. On the left, there is a user base of creating an ecosystem of digital content platform users, where they will consume the K contents. And of course, if they are consumers, they will be producers in the platform as well. But for many of us at its early stages, and it is exactly what the foundation was looking for, we took it as an investment opportunity, as in we took a proof of stake into the KOK Play model, where we participated in the mining pool for mining rewards, referral rewards, and at one time even level-based ranking rewards. But all of that is much of that is gone now. Not all of that, but much of that is gone now, because the investment opportunistic side of the ecosystem is now able to branch away into K Stadium. And that's why these two platforms exist separately, but work together as one ecosystem, where KOK Play will focus on becoming an ecosystem of digital content platform users, meaning that is where the digital contents will live and the platform users will consume. And of course, the producers will also go to KOK Play, meanwhile, the investment opportunistic side of the KOK ecosystem will be far more exciting in K Stadium. And by joining the community pool, for example, through its delegated proof of investment model, by joining a decentralized autonomous organization called as DAO, you'll be able to participate on a pool where you can get mining rewards, basic rewards, ranking rewards. It's quite a lot to understand about. So yet once again, I urge you to go on kstadium.io to understand more about K Stadium, or of course, join me on Thursdays where I go a little bit more in depth about the new platform that is K Stadium. But I want to mention to you that these two ecosystems work together. Now, that is the final part of my presentation where I want to explain to you how these two together can become what you participate as your future as well. But to do that, we have to understand how these two benefit one another. So let me put them side by side. We have the KOK platform on the left, the KOK Play platform on the left, and the K Stadium platform on the right. Now, these two platforms, how are they related to each other? Well, let's only look at one at a time, which is KOK Play. One thing that's going to happen, and that is already happening globally for the KOK Play app or the platform, is that the number of users is growing rapidly. And why it's growing rapidly, I'll mention to you a bit later, but it definitely has to do with the free user application that is open now. But its main point is that more and more users will come into KOK Play to consume the many contents that are being shared through KOK Play platform. And if those users come in and they consume, every time they transact, they'll be paying gas fees, as this is a blockchain-based cryptocurrency network, correct? And another thing that will happen when the number of users grow into KOK Play app is that more producers, those people who want to produce contents and sell those contents to the KOK Play community, will enter as well. And we call them decentralized applications as they're entering a blockchain-based system. And when they come in, if more D-apps come into the KOK Play platform, as they come in, they have to pay an investment rewards fee. In other words, to join in to the platform, they have to pay in KOK as well, meaning that both gas fees and investment rewards, either from the users or the decentralized applications that come into the contents platform that is KOK Play, will pay in and create an influx of KOK. No longer it will be collected in Ether, because we will no longer be utilizing Ethereum's blockchain base, but we'll utilize our very own KOK mainnet or the ground chain. So therefore, the gas fees and the investment rewards will be paid in KOK. And all of those fees collected are being circulated or given as rewards to the people who have invested into the ecosystem through K Stadium's community pool. And this is the full picture. The gas fees and the investment rewards, along with the inflation coin supply for the KOK ecosystem, will be gone through the community pool or to those who have invested in the community pool in K Stadium. And this is exactly how these two platforms work together. That's quite a lot to understand. I understand. But again, I urge you to definitely recheck this video out if you can. That will be hosted on YouTube for you to understand more about KOK Play and K Stadium as well, because this ecosystem is exactly how a protocol economy is possible. And I also want to mention you, there are other big changes that are happening currently and that are still going to happen for the KOK Play app. For example, the KYC. I know we started with the OTP authentication process recently with the new applications update. And we even had the $5,000 limit POS being announced many weeks ago. It still hasn't taken effect yet. So I think we still have a little bit of time for that 5,000 limit on POS, but that is going to happen definitely soon, I think. And of course, what I'm really excited about is really this number 5, which is a no stake user, meaning free referral systems. Remember when Uber first started and they did the whole, hey, use your referral code, give it to somebody, and you both get something out of it, a credit to use for your next Uber ride. Well, KOK Play is starting just that. Until now, you had to stake a minimal amount. It was either $300 At one point, I was $500 but I think most recent number is $300 to be a user, and for that user to have a referral code to send it to other users, and so on and so forth. Now, all of that is gone, and you can create an account with no stake, with $0. And once you do, and the system kicks in, both you and the new users will receive $100 worth of mileage that you can utilize in the app, that you can utilize to mine, that you can exchange it into KOK as well. Basically, you get $100 worth to be part of the KOK ecosystem. And all of these changes, if you're surprised, I'm surprised you're surprised, but all of these changes, one more time, are listed inside the app right now for you to check out. You can press the little user icon at the top right and go on to the announcement button. You can check out that you'll be able to find an invitation button where you have a referral code to refer those users. And all these announcements I've talked to you about and all these changes I've told you about are listed here. For example, I'm happy to say the iOS app is finally stable, up and running. The 2.6.1 iOS app is able to be installed onto your phones right now. I will try to put on a link if I can remember it. I do remember it. K Stadium. Yes. Boom. I put on a link on the chat. You can click on that and definitely go to, ooh, that does not have the actual link. Oh, no, it says download the slides. Oh, no. I will try to put in a link on where you can download the K Stadium link as well. Let me do that on our Q&A time today right away. But if you have an iOS and you want to finally install KOK Play onto your iOS or iPhone, you can do that. And of course, we are very excited to enter August, where the bridge bidirectional service will be launched, and we'll be able to definitely use that. And of course, all of these announcements are listed on our app. And with that, I want to conclude our presentation for today to remind you one more time, all of this is happening and has been planned from the very beginning. The company has not changed directions. It wants to create a working, true protocol economy based on the KOK ecosystem. And that means that the ecosystem will be a permissionless model where any and all participants are enabled and incentivized to contribute, meaning there will be some kind of incentive to be part and to contribute to the community. And when you contribute to the community, the value of the community is provided to all the contributors. And this is really what the KOK ecosystem is trying to create and has been doing so far. So as it's trying to create its brand new version of economy away from the unfair models of the platform economies and the centralized economies, let us be patient and let us be excited to be part of KOK's token economy. And again, if you have any other questions that is a bit more intricate into K Stadium, please join me on Thursdays, same time, same Zoom link, same Joony, on our Thursdays AMA or Ask Me Anything sessions. And of course, I'm happy to tell you that these videos are now on YouTube, sponsored by the DA Node, or the DA Dream Achievers group here in North America, as we are one of the very first and perhaps the only English information giving node here in North America. Happy to lead you and to give you information about K Stadium and KOK Play, because we believe an informed decision is the best decision. And of course, if you want to inform yourself before waiting on to our next live sessions, you can definitely go on kstadium.io. I can definitely tell you far more. You can definitely find more about K Stadium in there as well. So yes, Ruth, we are just letting you know. Okay, and then going forward, I do have some people asking me questions about, hey, Joony, the price for the KOK in the market is pretty bad right now. What is the company doing so far? Well, the foundation is doing these things. Let me tell you, the price recovery roadmap. Well, one, the price is dropping for various reasons, as we have really been hit globally in a crypto winter, as it's called, where the whole entire crypto market is in a winter or bearish market for quite a long time. So we're excited to definitely get out of this winter for sure, KOK ecosystem included. But the foundation is doing this. For example, the free user referral system, where now no longer a stake is needed to become a user. This means that more and more users will come in and will demand or use or increase the demand of the KOK Play's main utility coin, which is KOK. And if you increase demand, of course, with the limited supply, the price or the price point of KOK will rise as well. Another thing that the foundation is planning on doing is, of course, increasing the amount of people joining the community pool. And that was the first promotion and the second promotion that we all have taken part of, I hope. And so that means the more people who are participating on the community pool means the more people have locked down that KOK and reduced the amount of KOK that is in circulation, therefore reducing supply. And if you reduce supply while the demand is still the same, the price also recovers. And these are very simple supply and demand calculations as well. And another thing that the foundation is doing is that they have announced that they will actually burn many parts of their owned KOK asset. And if you burn a coin or burn a token supply, what happens? You reduce the entire amount that is out in the market or even available. So therefore, again, by reducing supply, you can increase the price point. So these are the these are the three things that the KOK Foundation has already started in doing, trying to increase or recover the KOK price point. So yeah, once again, as 1043, I want to definitely let you know that all of this information is on our YouTube channel. So you can search for DA Group K Stadium up on YouTube, and you should be able to find our YouTube channel. Click and subscribe to our channel so you can find the latest information and the newest news, I guess, or when the new videos are up. So you can check those out at your own specific time and share it with the people around you who wants to understand more about KOK and K Stadium. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for listening in on a Monday night. I wish you all a wonderful week. It's going to be an exciting week. We'll see what August is going to bring us and then it's definitely the last week of July. So that is also going to be a very interesting tell on how the rest of the year is going to be. So now that we've officially finished half of the year, thank you so much for being part of my Monday presentations, everybody. If you have any questions, you are welcome to stay and ask. If you don't have any questions, you can definitely leave and see me again on Thursday night. Same link, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that you can ask me more questions about K Stadium. Thanks so much, everybody. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to stop the video recording at this point.